Welcome to the deep dive. If you've ever felt like staying on top of cyber threats is like trying to catch smoke, well, you're definitely not alone.
Yeah, it's relentless.
It is. The sheer amount of information, just trying to stay secure, it's overwhelming. And the old ways, the traditional defenses, they always seem to be playing catch up.
Like digital whack-a-mole, exactly. And for a long time, it felt like the moles were winning, didn't it? That constant reactive cycle. It's just not sustainable anymore. Not with today's threats.
Exactly. And that's really why our mission today is to unpack this huge shift. We're diving deep into artificial intelligence in cybersecurity, its powerful, really transformative role. We've got this comprehensive report, Artificial Intelligence in Cybersecurity, and we've basically boiled it down to the essentials for you.
Think of this as your shortcut. Your way to quickly get why AI isn't just, a nice-to-have add-on. It's becoming fundamental, a necessity for protecting our digital lives.
Right. This deep dive should give you the core ideas, some surprising facts, actually, and a really clear view of the benefits and the challenges AI brings.
Yeah, get ready for those aha moments, hopefully without feeling birdied in tech jargon. We want you to walk away feeling genuinely informed, like you can see AI security with fresh eyes.
Okay, let's get into it then. For decades, cybersecurity was built on these, well, traditional methods. Foundational stuff, sure, but what was the big limitation? The thing that eventually caught up.
The core issue, they were reactive, completely reactive, built on predefined rules, signature-based detection.
Signatures, right, like knowing the face of past troublemakers.
Exactly. Imagine a club bouncer who only has a list of people who caused trouble last week. If someone totally new shows up looking suspicious, not on the list, they might just walk right in.
And with modern attacks being so fast, so high volume, changing all the time.
And that old approach is just too slow, often too little, too late.
So AI doesn't just tweak that model, it completely changes the approach, doesn't it? It really feels like more than an upgrade, it's a paradigm shift.
It absolutely is a genuine paradigm shift.
Oh.
AI fundamentally reshapes how organizations look at risk, how they defend themselves. The differences are huge.
Like reactive versus proactive.
That's the big one. Traditional is reactive, waiting for that known signature. AI, it's proactive. It finds threats by analyzing patterns, anomalies, weird behavior, essentially.
So it can spot things it's never seen before, unknown attacks, 0 days.
That's the idea. That new face at the club, AI is watching how they act, not just checking a list.
Okay, that's a massive difference right there.
And think about the rules. Traditional security uses static rules. You have to manually update them constantly, like printing a new list for that bouncer every single night.
Right, tedious.
AI adapts dynamically. It learns from new data, constantly improving its own models. Plus, traditional systems, they often use limited siloed data.
Yeah, just looking at firewall logs, maybe.
AI can process vast amounts of data, structured, unstructured, you name it, from tons of different sources. Gives you a much bigger, clearer picture. And it scales. Easily handles huge networks in real time.
And the speed? That's going to be another huge factor. Human intervention takes time.
Precious time. Analyzing logs, alerts manually. It's slow. AI automates detection and response. It cuts down reaction times dramatically.
So it's like going from detective work after the crime.
To an always-on learning system that can react almost instantly.
To really get this shift, maybe a quick history lesson. Where did cybersec even start?
Oh, way back. Super basic stuff initially. Think IBM System 360 in the 60s. Simple password protection. That was the start of authentication, really.
That's the passwords. Seems quaint now.
Right. Then came ARPANET, the internet's ancestor. And 1971 is a big year.
What happened then?
Well, you had the first significant breach on ARPANET. Someone bypassed the login. A wake-up call. And at almost the same time, the creeper worm appeared.
The first malware.
First known self-replicating malware, yeah. And that immediately led to Reaper, the first anti-malware tool. So the arms race started right there, basically threat and counter-threat.
Wow. So authentication, network security, threat mitigation, it all started way back then. And encryption.
DES encryption becoming widespread in the 70s was huge for data protection. But AI's role, that came much later.
When did AI really start making a difference?
Early AI in the 90s was pretty basic, mostly rule-based intrusion detection systems, IDS. The real leap was integrating behavioral analytics.
Like UEBA, User and Entity Behavior Analytics.
Exactly. UEBA became key. AI could now spot subtle deviations in how users or even devices normally behave, not just looking for known bad signatures.
That's the shift, isn't it? From a static list to understanding normal, which is crucial for those 0-day attacks that have no signature yet.
Precisely. AI in malware detection shifted focus from signatures to behavior. Massive improvement. And then AI-driven automation for incident response. That allowed for way faster mitigation, cutting down breach impact dramatically. Humans just couldn't react that fast on their own.
Okay, so connecting all these threads, the benefits seem huge, almost overwhelming. But if you had to boil it down, what are the absolute core advantages organizations get from AI security now?
Well, yeah, they can sound like buzzwords, but they're real. Speed and efficiency are obvious automating tasks, detecting threats in minutes instead of days.
Huge time saver.
Scalability, too. AI adapts whether you're a small startup or a massive global company. Cost savings are significant catching threats early, avoids huge breach costs, downtime,
That's
forensics.
just money, definitely.
Enhanced accuracy, way fewer false positives, which is a massive relief for security teams drowning in alerts. Fewer false negatives, too, meaning fewer missed threats.
So teams focus on real problems.
Right. And maybe the most important thing, a genuinely proactive posture. Shifting from constantly reacting to actually managing risk ahead of time. It's a different mindset.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty then. AI in action. Threat detection seems like the absolute core function. How does AI actually improve accuracy here beyond just the behavior part?
It layers things. Yes, user and entity behavior, but it adds crucial context. What device are they using? Where are they logging in from? What's their history? All that helps gauge threat likelihood much more accurately.
Context is key.
And it uses NLP, natural language processing, to sift through mountains of unstructured threat intel reports online, pulling out the relevant bits.
So it helps security teams see the wood for the trees.
Basically, yeah. Focus on credible threats, not just noise, which leads right to reducing that alert fatigue everyone complains about.
Oh yeah, every security team's dream.
Absolutely. Fewer false positives means less burnout, less chance of missing a real threat buried in the noise. AI learns from feedback too. If an alert is marked false positive, the model refines itself. Teams can then focus on the genuine incidents.
But it's not perfect, right? AI isn't magic. What challenges does it still face, especially with brand new threats?
Good point. Novel threats, 0 days, they don't have historical data. So AI has to rely more on behavioral analysis, which isn't always straightforward.
And the attackers are clever.
Very. They use polymorphic malware that keeps changing its code. They even use adversarial AI, feeding the defense AI bad data to trick it.
Wow, fighting AI with AI.
It's happening. Plus, you've got practical issues. Data quality is huge, garbage in, garbage out. Biased data can lead to biased results, false positives or negatives. And just integrating AI tools with existing systems, especially older ones, can be really complex and costly. Scalability is still a hurdle sometimes.
Okay, so dealing with those challenges, what specific machine learning tools are in the toolbox? For 0 days, how do you find something you've literally never seen?
That's where unsupervised learning shines. Algorithms like autoencoders are great. They learn what normal data looks like, so anything different stands out immediately.
Like spotting a forgery because you know the original really well?
Kind of like that, yeah. Or isolation forests. They're good at quickly isolating outliers, the weird stuff. These methods identify deviations from normal behavior in real time, constantly refining what normal means as the network changes.
And what about prioritizing? Not all alerts are emergencies. How does AI help sort the critical from the noise?
That's often where deep learning comes in. Things like convolutional neural networks, CNNs, you usually hear about them for image recognition.
Right, like identifying cats in pictures.
Exactly. But they're surprisingly good at analyzing malware structure, classifying different types. Deep learning models can also predict the potential impact of an incident, assign dynamic risk scores based on the attack vector, how sensitive the target is, and even suggest automated responses. Helps teams focus resources where they matter most.
Okay, so moving from just detecting to actively preventing attacks, is AI just waiting for bad stuff, or can it actually get ahead?
Oh, it's definitely playing a proactive role now.
Yeah.
Think of it like a digital fortune teller, almost. Predictive models analyze past exploits, system setups, and can identify vulnerabilities before attackers find them.
Predicting weaknesses.
Exactly. AI can even automate penetration testing, basically. Ethically hacking your own systems constantly to find flaws before the bad guys do. This speeds things up, shrinks that window of opportunity for attackers, and hardens your defenses automatically as it learns.
But can we rely on it too much? Is there a danger of becoming complacent thinking AI will just handle everything?
Absolutely, that's a real risk. AI systems can still miss things. False negatives leave you exposed. Or they cry wolf too often. False positives lead to alert fatigue.
Right, back to that problem.
And data quality, bias. Those are always concerns. Plus, Attackers keep evolving, finding ways around AI defenses, sometimes using adversarial AI, like we mentioned. These systems need a lot of resources, too. Over-reliance without smart human oversight. That can create blind spots. It's a powerful tool, but not foolproof.
Okay, that makes sense. Which brings us to AI-driven automation, incident response specifically. How does AI speed that up beyond just the initial alert?
It connects the dots fast. It automates real-time monitoring network traffic, user logs, system activity. When it spots something, it can automatically trigger preset incident response playbooks.
Like a checklist of actions?
Sort of, yeah. Automated steps. It can also automate collecting forensic data from potentially compromised systems and integrates with SOR platforms, security orchestration, automation, and response.
Hmm.
That lets it coordinate actions across different security tools automatically.
So it's not just flagging, it's actually doing things to contain the threat and figure out what happened much faster than humans could alone.
Exactly. What might take a human, team hours, gathering data, correlating events, AI can do in seconds or minutes.
What other key security tasks are getting the AI automation treatment?
Oh, quite a few. Beyond threat detection and response, vulnerability management is a big one, finding flaws and prioritizing which ones to fix first based on risk. Advanced phishing detection is crucial. AI spots subtle email tricks humans miss.
Like weird sender addresses or slightly off grammar?
Things like that, yeah, but also more complex behavioral flags. It enforces security policies consistently across huge networks, detects fraud by analyzing transactions, pulls in threat intelligence from everywhere, and even helps with compliance monitoring, checking against rules like GDPR or API automatically.
Let's switch gears slightly to identity and access management, IAM. Huge area, especially with remote work and cloud stuff. How does AI help lock down privileged access? The keys to the kingdom, basically.
It builds a profile, a baseline, for every user, especially privileged ones. Think of it like a digital fingerprint. There's the usual login times, devices, locations, what they normally access.
So it learns what's normal for each specific admin.
Precisely. Then it flags anomalies, someone logging in at 3 a.m. from a strange country, for instance. It constantly refines this understanding through machine learning. Plus, it correlates this behavior with external threat intel. Is this user's behavior matching a known attack pattern? Helps spot compromised accounts or insider threats much faster.
And what about stopping privilege escalation? Preventing someone from grabbing more access than they should have.
AI helps enforce the principle of least privilege dynamically. It grants access based on real-time need and context, not just static roles.
Only what you need when you need it.
Exactly. It watches for unusual changes in privileges or suspicious access attempts, analyzes usage patterns, and importantly, it can automatically revoke privileges that aren't being used or seem excessive. Shrinks the attack surface significantly.
Okay, malware detection again. Another critical area. How does AI try to predict what malware will do before it even runs, stopping it preemptively?
It uses a few techniques. Machine learning models trained on massive libraries of good and bad code learn to spot malicious characteristics. Heuristic analysis acts like a digital gut feeling, flagging suspicious actions even in unknown software.
Looking for generally bad behavior patterns.
Right. Predictive behavioral modeling analyzes code structure to guess its intent. Anomaly detection flags anything deviating from normal system operation when the code tries to run. Combine that with real-time threat intel and proactive blocking or isolation. The goal is to neutralize it before it executes.
But you mentioned earlier that AI struggles against APT's advanced persistent threats. These sound serious. What makes them so tough for AI? Are they just smarter?
They're definitely stealthier and more patient. Think of regular malware like a smash-and-grab robber, loud and fast. APTs, they're like spies.
Okay, spies. How so?
They infiltrate silently, maybe using 0 days or stolen credentials. They use advanced evasion tactics encrypting their traffic, disguising malicious processes as legitimate system functions. They move laterally, slowly spreading through the network, mapping things out, staying quiet.
Harder to spot than a sudden, noisy attack.
It's much harder. AI can struggle with that slow burn, that lack of immediate, obvious context. Plus, APTs might use custom tools AI hasn't seen. And again, resource intensity, potential false positives, and vulnerability to adversarial attacks are all factors that APT groups can exploit.
Makes sense. Okay, what about phishing? That constant, annoying tide of scam emails and messages. How does AI keep up as the tactics change?
It has to learn constantly. Continuous training on new phishing examples is key. It pulls in global threat intelligence about the latest campaigns. Some systems use adversarial learning, basically, pitting AIs against each other to find new attack methods and build defenses.
So it tries to anticipate the next trick.
Exactly. And it provides real-time updates to block new threats quickly. Importantly, it's also adapting beyond email, looking at smishing via SMS text messages, vishing over voice calls, channels traditional filters miss completely.
Right, it's not just email anymore. Are there common AI tools doing this, things maybe we're already benefiting from?
Oh, definitely. Think about email security gateways like Proofpoint. They use AI to analyze email content, metadata, sender reputation, all sorts of things. Microsoft Defender in Office 365 uses AI to scan links and attachments in real time.
Okay, so corporate email systems often have this built in.
Often, yes. Tools like NoB4 use AI for employee training, creating super realistic, personalized phishing simulations. And network-level tools like Cisco Umbrella use AI to block connections to malicious websites found in phishing links, even if someone clicks.
Sounds powerful, but what are the catches? Why isn't phishing completely solved yet?
Well, integrating these complex AI tools can be tricky and expensive, especially for smaller businesses. And the most sophisticated attacks, maybe using AI-generated deepfakes for voice phishing, can still slip through because they're so new and convincing. And like always, the AI is only as good as the data it's trained on. It needs constant, high-quality updates.
Okay, back to incident response. We know AI makes it faster, but how does it help with the forensics part, figuring out what actually happened after a breach?
It automates the data drudgery. AI can rapidly collect and analyze huge volumes of data from compromised systems, logs, network packets, memory images. It pieces together the attacker's path, identifies the root cause, pinpoints what data was accessed or stolen.
So it helps build the story of the breach much faster.
Exactly. Which is crucial not just for recovery, but for understanding how it happened and preventing it next time. It shrinks that attacker dwell time not just by detecting faster, but by speeding up the whole investigation and containment process. But, you know the drill? Challenges remain. It needs good data to work with. Integrating it with all your systems can be complex. The black box problem, sometimes it's hard to know why the AI reached a certain conclusion, which is tough in forensics. Adversarial attacks are a risk, and cost is always a factor.
Makes sense. Let's talk cloud security. Huge area now. How does AI help secure these dynamic distributed cloud environments?
It brings visibility and automation. Sophisticated behavioral analytics track users and resources in the cloud. Real-time intrusion detection spots threats moving between cloud services. Automated vulnerability scanning constantly checks cloud configurations for weaknesses, prioritizing risks.
Because cloud setups can change so quickly.
Exactly. AI monitors data encryption status, enforces access controls dynamically based on context, and even automates checks for compliance standards like GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS, which are super complex to manage manually in the cloud.
And the main benefits there. Seems pretty clear.
Yeah, much better visibility across complex cloud setups, proactive defense tailored to cloud risks, scalability that matches the cloud's elasticity, less manual grunt work for security teams, and super fast, real-time responses, which are vital when things change so rapidly.
But the cloud isn't magic either. What unique challenges does AI face there?
Data privacy is a big one. You've got huge amounts of potentially sensitive data in the cloud. Securing the AI that analyzes it is critical. False positives or negatives can be particularly disruptive or costly in cloud environments.
Spinning up resources unnecessarily, maybe?
Or missing a critical threat in a rapidly scaling application, yeah. Cost is also a factor. Advanced AI in the cloud can get expensive. And there's a definite skills gap. Finding people who understand both AI and complex cloud security is tough.
Okay, what about the Internet of Things? IoT. Billions of devices, smartwatches, sensors, cameras. How does AI help secure this massive, diverse landscape?
It's essential for monitoring, really. AI continuously watches these devices for deviations from their normal behavior, establishes those baselines. What should this smart thermostat be doing?
Because each device type is different.
Exactly. It can use edge AI running analysis directly on or near the device to reduce latency and data transmission. It integrates threat intelligence specific to IoT vulnerabilities, applies predictive analytics to guess where the next attack might come from, and it can trigger automated responses, like isolating a compromised device.
Are there real-world examples where this is actually happening now?
Definitely. In smart homes, detecting unauthorized attempts to access cameras or locks. In industrial settings, monitoring control systems for signs of sabotage or malfunction caused by cyber attacks.
Critical infrastructure stuff.
Absolutely. In healthcare, securing connected medical devices like insulin pumps or patient monitors. In smart cities, protecting things like traffic light controls, utility grids, public surveillance systems. But, you guessed it, challenges abound. Data privacy with all that personal and operational data from IoT devices is a huge concern. Scalability is immense. Billions of devices, thousands of vendors, different
A
protocols.
management nightmare.
It can be. Integration complexity is massive, and adversarial AI attacks specifically targeting IoT security models are a growing threat.
And shifting from purely digital to physical security, AI is changing surveillance too, right? Airports, campuses.
Yes, significantly. In physical security, AI enables things like advanced facial recognition for identifying known threats or managing access. Anomaly detection spots unusual movements, like someone leaving a bag unattended, or weird behavior in crowds.
Like spotting trouble brewing.
Potentially, yeah. Object recognition can identify things like weapons. Crowd monitoring can analyze density, flow, even estimate tension levels. And license plate recognition, LPR, tracks vehicles.
Okay, and this is where the privacy alarm bells really start ringing loud, isn't it? All that data collection. How serious are the privacy risks here?
They're very serious. AI thrives on data, often including highly sensitive, personally identifiable information, PII, behavioral patterns, even biometric data like faces or voices.
It needs it to work well.
It often does. But this extensive collection, the potential for intrusive monitoring like tracking movements, maybe even conversations near smart devices, combined with the lack of transparency in how some AI models make decisions, the black box issue, and how long data is kept or who it's shared with. It all adds up to significant privacy risks.
So acknowledging those risks, what can organizations do? What are the best practices to use AI securely without trampling on privacy?
It's a balance. Key measures include strict data minimization, only collect what you absolutely need, use robust anonymization and encryption techniques, be transparent with people about what data you're collecting and why, and get clear consent.
Consent and transparency are crucial.
Absolutely. Implement strict access controls. Who can see this data? Manage the data lifecycle. How long do you keep it? Destroy it securely. Regular audits are vital, as is actively working to mitigate bias in the AI models, often by using diverse training data. And carefully vetting any third-party vendors involved is essential. And doing this right isn't just about avoiding trouble, it builds user trust. It ensures you comply with regulations like GDPR. It can actually improve the AI's accuracy and fairness. And it can even be a competitive advantage in a world that increasingly cares about privacy.
Beyond privacy, what about the broader ethics? AI making security decisions. What are the big ethical questions?
There are several core concerns. Bias, like we touched on AI unfairly targeting certain groups. Privacy violations, obviously. The question of autonomy versus human oversight. How much control do we give the AI? Accountability if an AI makes a mistake. Who's responsible?
Developer, the
Yeah.
user, the AI itself.
Exactly. It's murky. Then there's the potential weaponization of AI by attackers, the lack of transparency or explainability, and just the general ethics of using all this collected data.
So how do we navigate that? Are there guidelines for deploying AI ethically, preventing misuse?
Guidelines are emerging. Key principles include proportionality, make sure the security measure fits the risk, fairness, actively fight bias in data and algorithms, transparency, be open about how the AI works and its limits, empowerment, let people understand and challenge AI decisions that affect them.
And practically, to stop AI being turned into a weapon.
Strong access controls on the AI itself, robust security for the AI systems, ethical training for developers and users, thinking about dual-use potential and how to mitigate it, continuous monitoring for misuse, complying with regulations, and collaborating with law enforcement and the wider security community.
Let's dive deeper into that bias issue in cybersecurity AI. How exactly can a biased model create actual security holes an attacker could exploit?
It's a real danger. A biased model might develop blind spots. For example, if it's mostly trained on attacks common in North America, it might be less effective at detecting tactics favored by attackers in Asia, leaving a gap.
So attackers could target that known weakness.
Potentially, yes. Or if the AI is biased against certain types of user behavior based on flawed training data, attackers could mimic safe behavior to evade detection. Bias can also lead to too many false positives for certain innocent users, drowning out real alerts and reducing overall efficiency. And of course, there are the regulatory and ethical problems if your AI is systematically unfair.
Okay, so how do we fight that bias? What are the strategies for building fairer, more robust AI security?
It starts with the data. Using diverse, representative training data is fundamental. Regularly auditing and testing the model specifically for bias is crucial. There are even tools designed to detect bias.
So active testing, not just hoping it's fair.
Right. Transparency in how the models are built helps too. Maintaining strong human oversight is key. Don't let the AI run completely unchecked. using feedback loops to correct biases over time, having diverse development teams brings different perspectives, and ensuring the AI models are continuously learning and updated with new, diverse data.
Got it. Thinking about the tech itself, deep learning, neural networks, what makes them so much more powerful for security than older machine learning methods?
Their big advantage is automatic feature extraction. You don't need a human expert to manually tell the AI what features of the data are important for finding threats. The deep learning model figures that out itself from the raw data.
It learns what matters on its own.
Exactly. They're also great at handling incredibly complex high-dimensional data, like raw network packets or malware code. They excel at pattern recognition, often outperforming traditional methods. They adapt better to new, unseen threats. They analyze data in multiple layers, finding subtle connections. They work across different data types, text, images, sound, and they can do it in real time. But the challenges are there too. Explainability is the big one. Deep learning models can be black boxes, making it hard to understand why they flag something. Bias mitigation is an ongoing effort. Strategies involve developing explainable AI, XAI techniques, ensuring humans work with the AI, human in the loop, using diverse data, regular updates, and optimizing performance.
Okay. AI for risk assessment, predicting vulnerabilities. How good is AI, really, at predicting future attacks based on past data?
It's getting surprisingly good. AI analyzes historical attack data, identifies recurring patterns, maps out common attack chains. It can look at vulnerability databases and correlate known weaknesses with attacker methods to predict which ones are likely to be exploited soon.
Like predicting which bugs will become popular targets.
Exactly. It can even estimate the time to exploit for new flaws. It uses real-time updates, simulations, and forecasting to assess how emerging threats might impact your specific environment. The benefits: proactive defense, better accuracy in prioritizing risks, scalability, dynamic adaptation, and focusing security teams on the biggest dangers. But predictive accuracy still depends heavily on the quality and completeness of the data, and attackers are always innovating, which is hard to predict perfectly.
So looking ahead, this feels like just the beginning, doesn't it? What emerging AI techniques are on the horizon? What's the really cutting edge stuff?
Well, we're definitely just scratching the surface. Some really exciting things are developing. Generative adversarial networks, GANs using AI to create super realistic fake attacks to train other AIs to defend better.
Using AI to make defenses smarter by attacking them. Interesting.
Right, federated learning is another big one. It allows different organizations to collaboratively train AI models on their threat data without actually sharing the sensitive data itself. Huge for privacy while improving collective intelligence.
Sharing the learning, not the data. Clever.
Very. Explainable AI, XAI, is becoming crucial. Making AI decisions understandable to humans builds trust. Adaptive AI systems that learn and respond to new threats continuously in real time. Neurosymbolic AI, which combines AI's pattern-matching strength with traditional rule-based logic. And digital twins, creating virtual replicas of networks or systems to safely test defenses or simulate attacks.
Wow, some of that really does sound like science fiction becoming reality. So projecting out over the next decade, what's the big picture for AI and cybersecurity?
We'll see a major shift towards pervasive, proactive, threat-hunting AI, actively searching for hidden threats, not just reacting. Much deeper integration between AI and IoT security is inevitable. We'll see more AI-augmented human defenders, AI handling the routine stuff, humans tackling the complex strategic challenges.
Humans and AI working together.
Exactly. Global threat intelligence networks will be powered by AI, sharing insights incredibly fast. We'll get better at resisting even APTs. AI will automate huge chunks of regulatory compliance. And further out, we'll likely see the beginnings of truly autonomous cyber defense systems, maybe even leveraging the power of quantum computing alongside AI. That could completely rewrite the rules again.
Wow, that's quite a future. We have covered so much ground today, from that fundamental shift AI represents, moving away from reactive.
You're right, to being proactive.
For all these specific applications, detection, prevention, response, forensics, across cloud, IoT, everywhere, and then tackling the really important ethical questions and looking at what's next.
It's clear, isn't it? AI isn't just another tool in the toolbox. It's fundamentally changing the entire approach to digital defense, moving us away from that endless game of catch-up.
It really is. And as AI gets more powerful, more autonomous, it leaves us with a really critical question to think about, doesn't it, for you listening?
Yeah.
How do you balance the incredible security benefits AI offers with that vital need for human oversight, for ethical accountability, especially in our hyperconnected world?
Yeah, and how can you best prepare for a future where increasingly your digital safety relies on these intelligent systems?
Definitely something to ponder.
Food for thought. It shows why taking the time for these deep dives into complex topics is always worthwhile.